Hello, good morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, and aloha. Welcome back to another episode of Lou Reviews. My name is Luis Jimenez, actor extraordinaire here in Los Angeles, writer, sketch comedian, and all around, I don't know, fill in whatever blank you want to there. I found my new favorite drink here. Bubbly, not sponsored by them whatsoever, but it has been my favorite sugar-free go-to drink here for the last 2 weeks, ever since I got back from Vegas. Anyway, howdy y'all. Man, we've got an interesting show for you guys today. James Gunn gives 0 Fs. 0. This many. About what you think on his moves with DC and Superman and everything else that's going on. Brianna Matz, what's going on, girl? Thank you for being here. Hello, Tani Waba. Check out we're going to be doing the Golden Probes this Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Please, Brianna, post all the info there, and I'll let the good people know. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's bring up this article because this was just dropped on IndieWire. James Gunn addresses the online backlash. Oh, I wish I had faded that out. Anyway, James Gunn addresses online backlash to DC decisions. Quote, disrespectful outcry will never, ever affect our actions. No one loves to be harassed or called names, but to be frank, we've been through significantly worse, Gunn said. And this is an article written by Christian Zilko over at IndieWire. And I'll read a little bit of this here in a second, but obviously by the title of this article, he doesn't care. And to be honest, he has been through worse. And if you think you're gonna bully James Gunn into getting what you want, no matter how many online petitions you get for this, it's not gonna change. I know that there are a ton of fans out there that hate this move. I'm going to go against the grain here and say I love this move personally. DC needs a change. And personally, I think they're in position to do something that's way more unique and way more fan appreciative and way more gritty and way more fun than anything Marvel could ever produce if they do it the right way. I know everyone loves Henry Cavill as Superman. That was kind of like the straw that broke the internet's back, apparently, in the last few days here. They scrapped Wonder Woman 3. They scrapped any sort of Justice League now that Superman and all of essentially everyone, the Flash, everyone except for Aquaman, because I think once this new Aquaman movie comes out, I think that's it for Aquaman. I think they're going to end up scrapping that as well. So I think that's coming. I applaud this move, and I'll tell you why for a couple reasons. The first, these movies for the most part aren't very good, especially the Justice League movies. And Wonder Woman 2, I loved the first one. I really did enjoy the first one, but part 2 was an abomination. It was so bad. And the Justice League movies, even the Snyder cut, I was just bored out of my mind. The cool thing about comic books, and I think that not a lot, there's really only 2 studios that are producing these kind of films, but I think they're both in a way scared, although I think Warner Brothers has seen the success of Joker and now the Batman, and they just started shooting the Joker 2. Um, it's going like those three films are really good. And they did gangbusters at the box office. And so the studio was happy, the fans were happy, and it's a win-win for both. And I hope that this is the direction that Warner Brothers and DC is going to go. Is this and I think James Gunn is going to add that humor and grittiness to it as well when he starts to build out this universe and starts picking directors to film said universe. I like that they're starting over. From what I understand, the early scripts or the script is done for the new Superman movie, and it takes place, I'm assuming, in Superman's teenage years. So we get to see a really young new Superman. Um, I liked Henry Cavill. I think he is. I know I would be best friends with Henry Cavill. He's a gamer. He's a nerd at heart. He was a very good Superman, but it's time to move on. Unfortunately, he just came in a time period where I think studios were really figuring out, especially DC, they're just trying to copy the Marvel universe. It was so obvious. They did just a really crap. You ever seen the horse that gets progressively worse? That meme of the horse where it starts off beautifully and by the end it's literally a stick figure. I think that's what DC was to Marvel for a long time. They were the stick figure at the end of the horse. They poorly copied the universe that Marvel, in my opinion, did a pretty good job of. Much better than DC. The humor in those films were better. The special effects, the storylines. Although I have a lot of critiques about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I find it odd that you have these two comic book universes that in some ways are similar to each other, but they are distinctly different in a lot more ways. And the mythology, the rich mythology, and the genuine pain and destruction and you know internal struggles are very visceral in those comic books. And I always get frustrated when I watch comic book movies because, people like Martin Scorsese or even one of my heroes, Quentin Tarantino, film heroes. They always got shit to talk on these movies, and I know for sure that Quentin Tarantino loved Joker. I know there's no way Martin Scorsese watched Joker and walked away and said that movie is useless. And also think about this: if you're angry about Henry Cavill, there was there. I always go back to the Joker character. After Heath Ledger did Joker in Batman, uh, Batman. Why am I forgetting the name of this movie? Batman Part Two with the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan um, version of Batman. Arguably the best three Batman films out there. And I think the new Batman film is creeping up. And so is the Joker film. I think they're just as valuable, especially Joker. Um, After Heath Ledger did that Oscar-winning performance, it was like, I never want to see anyone play the Joker ever again. You can't top that. And then he died, and it's just like, oh my God. Now, how are you going to follow up that performance? How is it possible? And then we got Joaquin Phoenix, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful version of the Joker. And I'm kind of bummed that it sounds like they're not going to be in any way introducing a Batman, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. I would like to see a Batman in that universe of Todd Phillips' Joker. I think that would be freaking awesome. Um, and I think DC has got a really great opportunity to not only try some things out, but I think cast a very wide net that pleases all the fans. I think it's okay for a studio, if they've got vision, to do, and I'm just going to take one character, Batman, for example. And they've done this. And I think you could apply this not only for the Justice League, but any other part of the lore or universe. You've got Batman, Michael Keaton, or what? Let's start at Batman, at the '60s television style Batman, which wasn't that wasn't anywhere near close to the comic book Batman, the detective style of Batman. Then we finally get Michael Keaton, Tim Burton Batman, that to this day still influences a lot of films and how sets are built. That changed, and we got Jack Nicholson as the Joker, right? And then you get Michael Keaton as Batman, and that was a killer flick. Still holds up. In some ways, it doesn't, but a lot of that film, especially the special effects and the feel of it, are iconic. It cannot be denied. Then you've got, which is PG-13, by the way. Then we get to Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan's even more serious Batman after some terrible sequels to the Tim Burton Batmans. And then Warner Brother completely walks away from it. Then you get Nolan's Batman. Then Batman takes an interesting turn after or around Nolan. You get Lego Batman, which I know seems silly, but it proves that you can make a Batman for adults, a Batman for teenagers, and a Batman for kids. And all could be successful and all service the fans, and everybody gets what they want. And I hope that's what James Gunn tries to do with this. But to be honest, the only thing I care about is that the scripts are good, the cinematography is on point, the acting is great. I want them to try and go for Oscar-winning films. Why not? Like, the struggles of Oscar-winning films can be portrayed in, yes, a comic book universe world. Like, those human emotions can be included in these types of stories. That type of acting can be included in these types of stories. They can be Shakespearean. They could be dark. Like, I would love to maybe see a world or a 3-part film where Batman dies. Like, and that's it. That's it. That would be awesome. I would like to see good guys lose. And I think that's hard to pitch. And it's a risky take, because since the dawn of film, good guys don't lose. And one of the few films where the good guy does lose, Rocky, wins an Oscar. I think the opportunity's there, and I think James Gunn's going to do a great job. And I think whoever they cast as the new Superman, I think will eventually fill the shoes. I have more faith in DC and Warner Brothers than I've ever had before. I think this is a great move. I wouldn't be worried about it. I really wouldn't be. What's the hold on a second. The Suicide Squad film that James Gunn directed, that basically it was a reboot as far as I'm concerned, and it was awesome. It's one of my favorite DC films. So, I mean, you've got Suicide Squad, you've got the Christopher Nolan Batmans, you've got the Robert Pattinson Batman, Todd Phillips and the Joker, and those are 4 really killer films and universes that you can jump from. And I think the Snyderverse, it was bad. It was really bad. It was really, 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 really bad. And it was also problematic, especially with Ezra Miller and all of the trouble and weird stuff that guy's into now. But just, I think the best movie to come out of that whole Justice League would be Wonder Woman and maybe Aquaman. Wonder Woman, I think, is a character again that could be relaunched and kick ass and be really, really good. I think there's a way to do the Justice League in the vein of how James Gunn did Suicide Squad, where it could be over the top and ridiculous, hilarious, bloody, gory, and have a pretty decent storyline. Like I think you can have all of those things. Um, and so I've got a lot of faith, but let's read a little bit of this article because he's got some interesting things to say here. Since being named co-CEO of DC Studios, James Gunn and Peter Safran have wasted no time as they have aggressively reshaped Warner Brothers comic book IP into a coherent cinematic universe. Exciting developments like Gunn writing a young Superman movie have been accompanied by disappointing announcements such as the news that Henry Cavill's no longer playing Superman and Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 has been scrapped. They have also acted with a level of transparency seldom had seen at the highest levels of Hollywood, which allows fans to learn about controversial decisions before their full film slate is revealed. That has inevitably led to backlash from some of the loudest voices in the online community, comic book fan community, something that Gunn, a frequent Twitter user, often confronts, but he's not letting get to him. They're being as transparent as possible. What are you bitching about? Like, they and Henry Cavill had some really nice things to say, and it bums me out. Like he lost The Witcher because of stuff that was going on with production that he didn't like, and the script was going, they're calling woke. I hate using that term, but you know, overly progressive political sort of storylines within Witcher, and he dropped out because of it. He's like, change this or I'm gone. And then he leaves The Witcher, and then he gets and the bad news or the sad news because you could tell he loved he loved being Superman. He loved playing Superman. And Man of Steel was a good film. It was very well acted, especially, I mean, Michael Shannon opposite, Henry Cavill. That was amazing casting in that film. Um, and that's what, other than 300, that's my probably favorite Zack Snyder film. But it could have, I think, it could have been better. I think there was room for a lot of improvement. Could have been shorter, could have been brighter. There's a lot of whatever. We're not going to get into Man of Steel, but um, they're being honest. They're being they're telling the fans straight up, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We're essentially we're starting over." And sorry, but it's like a band-aid that you just got to rip off. And there's no nice way to do these things. And there's no right combination of words. It's like breaking up with someone. there's no combinations of words that you're gonna say that will let them down. It's gonna hurt. So just the best thing to do is just let it hurt. You're gonna be mad, you're gonna be angry, you're gonna get over it. But I think once these films start dropping and we start getting trailers, you're gonna start getting excited again. Because I think DC is going in a direction that is finally on the right track. I mean, this has been 10, almost 15 years of pretty terrible films. With an occasional hit here and there in a universe that is completely incoherent and does not meld anywhere near as close as Marvel. And Marvel has a ton of holes in it. So, I hope they become the new benchmark. I hope they become the new standard. I hope they force Marvel to get better. That's what I'm hoping for. Iron sharpens iron. So, the more that these studios listen to the fans and give them what they want, but at the same time surprise them, I think is better for everyone. Yeah. So I mean, that's my thoughts. But Gunn goes on to say in a Twitter thread on December 19th, he addressed the online criticism that they have received and reiterated that it won't deter their plans for DC. Quote, one of the one of the things Peter and I are aware of when we took the job as heads of DC Studios was certain minority of people online that could be, well, uproarious and unkind, to say the least. Gunn wrote, "Our choices for the DCU are based upon what we believe is best for the story and best for the DC characters who have been around for nearly 85 years." Like, you can tell this guy respects the characters, he respects the universe. Perhaps these choices are great, perhaps not, but they are made with the sincere hearts and integrity and always with the story in mind. Gunn went on to say that he and Safran were aware of the inevitable outrage they would attract when they took the job, but believe that it will be all worth it when their cinematic plans are realized. No one loves to be harassed or called names, but to be frank, we've been through significantly worse. Disrespectful outcry will never affect our actions, he continued. We are aware that there would be a period of turbulence when we took the gig, and we knew we would sometimes have to make difficult and not so obvious choices, especially in the wake of a fractious nature of what came before us. And that's true. Like, this fan base is split in half. One part, it's like Star Wars. Like, you've split the fan base in half, where one part of the fan base, I would say more usually the younger side, the side that's growing up with that newer story, they love it. But the older fan base that has been around for 30, 40 years, that is paying for those kids to go watch those movies. When they go take their kids to the movies, they want to be entertained as well. They don't want to be rolling their eyes at some, you know, forced progressive political message or whatever kind of message they're trying to put in there. They just want to be entertained. They want Batman. They want Batman to be Batman. They want Indiana Jones to be Indiana Jones. They don't want James Bond to die at the end of films and be taken over by a woman. Like, it's like, that's not what fans want. Like, and that's not to say that you can't have killer female strong characters. I mean, one of my favorite films of this last year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. That is the best, one of the best movies of female empowerment ever. The stories can be told, but when they're forced, it just leaves a bad taste clearly in half of the fan base. Not to say me, but, and I'll be honest, sometimes, yeah, it is me. Like, I want good films. I want them to be awesome. I don't want to walk out of a movie theater, especially when I go with my girlfriend and we've spent close to $80 to, especially when we go to the Alamo Draft House. We have a couple drinks and some food and we watch it. We want it to be a 10 out of 10 every time. Every time. So, I think this is a good thing. And I'm probably one of the few hosts and channels that'll say that. I think this is a long time coming, and I'm excited for DC. And I'm hoping that Marvel gets shakeups like this. I'm hoping that Star Wars gets a shakeup like this. I think getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy would be the best thing for Star Wars, and I'd love to see what Dave Filoni. He's the one who deserves it the most. I would love to see what he would bring to the table as far as reshaping the universe and maybe even starting from scratch. I don't think that's something that Disney should be afraid of. I think start the whole Star Wars universe from the beginning, or go back and forth. You could do anything. Oh my God. Can you imagine a Game of Thrones type show, but with lightsabers? I mean, come on, it's right there in front of you. I hope that this DC reshuffle and cleanup is a signal to other studios. Hey, we can do this. So before we get out of here, let's say what's up to people in the chat. If we have any questions, of course, put them up in a caps, helps easier to see. But here, let me see what's going on. Glacial Boy says, howdy, what's up? John Demond says, well, I'll miss the UFO stuff. Don't worry. We'll be talking about that every once in a while, just not every show. So when I do a UFO show, I promise you'll see the thumbnail. Ring the bell. Here's the thing I should remind everybody now. This is a great time. Like, subscribe, share. Obviously, we're here for the algorithm, but ring the bell because this show doesn't have a schedule. I just go live when I can. I fit it between other things in my schedule. So definitely ring the bell so that way you don't miss a show. And if you do, don't worry, it's always here in the archive for you to enjoy whenever you want. Swink McLeod, evening all. Hello, Swink. Hearts of Men. Comic book movies are not cinema. Scorsese. I agree that most comic books are not cinema. I'd say Batman, Nolan's Batman is cinema for sure. I would consider Joker cinema. Did Todd Phillips win Oscar for Best Director on that? Let me see. Academy Award for Best Actor, Joaquin Phoenix. Academy Award for Best Music. Golden Lion Award, Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, BAFTA for Best Actor. That's cinema. I'm sorry, like you can have a comic book win Oscars and be considered great film if you're patient and you're, as a studio, willing to take risk, and as a director, not willing to sacrifice on any part of your vision. So I disagree with you, Hearts of Men. Or, well, you're not saying it. Scorsese is. I disagree with Scorsese. And I would have loved to seen his face when he saw De Niro playing that part, which was a callback to his early film where, God, I'm having brain farts today. De Niro plays a comedian. I think it was called Late Night. Anyway. Prodzy. I'll be real. I don't know much about the DC movies. Do they have a more serious tone than Marvel movies, or have more gore than Marvel's would? I would say, yeah, I'd say DC is, I wouldn't say gore, but they're definitely a little darker. Batman, starting with Batman. They've got dark tones to it, but Marvel's got Wolverine. So they both have the same things. They both have just as much of the same dark tones. I think it's just clearly Disney has chosen to not really go there. The closest thing I think they've gotten to is Deadpool, and that's one of my favorite Marvel movies out there. So, I think, let's be real here. I think Amazon's The Boys, television cinematic comic book style universe is better than Marvel or DC. To me, that's that and the animation series Invincible. Those are the two best superhero things I've ever seen, ever. And those are gory and bloody and gross and have some serious undertones and great storylines. And I'm sure if I Googled how many awards the boys have won, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. They've already renewed season 3, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a season 4. And the little side, they got a animated series called Diabolical that's based off of the universe. If you haven't seen it on Amazon, hands down, you have to check that out. It's awesome. But I think Marvel should be doing stuff like that. I think they can have a Captain America that beats somebody's brains in, and then they can have a Lego Captain America for the kids, or cartoon or whatever. I think Star Wars should have lightsaber duels that you can see blood or guts when they slice somebody open. That would be awesome. Because it's just, I'm an adult now. I want adult content. It's cool to see a lightsaber cut through steel, but we've seen that. I've never seen somebody's throat cut with a lightsaber. or leaving some giving somebody maybe a terrible burn mark from a lightsaber, like actually watching that. Like I want a Tarantino style lightsaber story. I think they could be simple. They don't have to be like where you go to 15 planets in one movie. I think one Jedi stuck on a planet trying to get off of it because the Empire's coming and they've got bounty hunters coming after him would be a killer movie. It would be a killer movie. So, you could keep it simple, man, and fun. There's ways to do it. But anyway, I hopefully DC is going that direction. We'll see. The Dark Knight. That's the name. Why am I forgetting the name of these movies? The Dark Knight. Duh. Duh. Thank you, Ryan Eckersley. I truly appreciate it. Hearts of Men. Thank you as well. Some men just want to watch the world burn. This is true. I hope I don't seem like one of those men because I'm going against the grain here. I'm the fan that is screaming, yes, thank God, finally. No more, no more. I do not want to see another Gal Gadot Wonder Woman movie, especially after that second one. I do not want to see another Justice League movie, especially after the extended cut. We never need another Justice League movie as far as I'm concerned. We can do without it. But if you do it, I think you could do it way better than that. 1337. Is this that new show on TV, or is it 1887 or some 1837 or something like? Is that what you meant to type? Accidental Genius. Let me know. Hopefully, you're still around. I miss when you, UFO Jane Radowski, were talking about UFO phenomenon. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, those days are done. But don't worry, we'll eventually get back there, I'm sure, when news breaks. I'm psyched for Lobo. What is Lobo? What is that acronym? Can you tell me down below? I'm sorry. Sometimes I just don't get those things. Tickle Monster. Hi, Lou. Hello, Tickle Monster. Thank you so much. Breaking with old canon and starting a new universe didn't work super well for Star Wars, though. Yeah, but there was no plan with Star Wars. There was no scripts written. The scripts were written as the films were made with the new Star Wars films, with the J.J. Abrams and the Rian Johnsons. And I don't consider that breaking with old canon. I don't know. I guess it in some ways it does break. It does break a lot of old canon rules, and I I just think you can't break those. If you're claiming to be part of that universe, you can't break the canon rules within the new films of that universe. If you want to break canon rules, then scrap it and start over, and set new rules, or have a universe where those rules are introduced. I'm kind of with you here, but Star Wars, if I'm being honest, I didn't like the prequels that George Lucas made. I still don't like those films. There are moments that I really love, and when I hear Dave Filoni talk about them, I want to fall in love with him again. And I think there was intentions and risks on the table that George Lucas could have taken with those prequel films, but decided not to because they wanted to sell more toys. And I personally think if I was the head of Disney, I would start over with Star Wars. I would scrap the whole thing. I would keep the parks. Obviously, you can't change that. Keep the canon Star Wars stuff within the parks and start over and start adding new. Like I would especially lean on the non-canon books written outside of canon and books written within canon. I want to see a Thrawn film. That would be absolutely killer. I think I think we'll get it, but I don't have the confidence that Lucasfilms and Disney will give it justice. Andor gives me a lot of hope for a Thrawn series, but with Star Wars, it's a crapshoot. So, yeah, I hear you. I think we can have a conversation about that. I could talk about that all day. PAC again with what? How's it? How's it? What's it, Lou? How's it? What's it, Lou? Yo, extinguisher. Yo, what's going on, my extinguisher fans? Hey Lou, do you chew on aglets? What are aglets? No, I don't chew on aglets. Chiclets, maybe. All right, let's see here. Hmm. Score says the argument. Many of the elements that define cinema as I know it are there in the Marvel pictures. What's not there is revelation, mystery, or genuine emotional danger. Nothing is at risk. I agree. I don't agree with that again with Joker. I hate to keep using that as an example, but that's sort of like a gold standard, I think, for DC anyway. Um and I think they did take a little bit of that in Deadpool. But I agree for the most part. You Scorsese's right. There is no revelation or mystery or genuine emotional danger. There's not. These for the most part, most of these characters are going to live, and if they do die, they're just brought back with a time machine or something stupid. They never. They're too afraid to let characters die, and I think that's where I hope James Gunn changes things because the Suicide Squad, that first scene in Suicide Squad, almost everyone dies. Spoiler alert. Like all of the Suicide Squad members pretty much die, and we're introduced to the new Suicide Squad, with the exception of Harley Quinn. And if I'm wrong on that, please correct me in the chat. But yeah, the pictures are made to satisfy a specific set of demands, and they're designed as variations on a finite number of themes. Thank you for pulling up that quote. Very, very awesome. How quickly you did that. Thank you. And I agree. I agree with a lot of that, but I think those universes have the potential to prove Scorsese wrong. They just do. Um Hey, okay, Brady. It is me, the executioner. Thank you so much for watching the show. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, you guys. In it for the algorithm. Thank you so much. And if you want to support other ways, of course, we got super chats and there's a link for Patreon down below. Feel free to donate if you like. Swink McLeod, those prequels are horrible. Agreed. Disney officially broke with Star Wars canon and made a new universe. They called it the old lore, Star Wars Legends. Yes, you're 100% right on this pack. Thank you so much. But Legends is so much better than canon. Agreed. Like all of the old Republic games and comics are legends and are no longer canon, but they're awesome. I agree 100% with you there. 100%. Star Wars Legends they should be leaning on Legends big time. Have you played the Half-Life series? I played it for a little bit, but once we start streaming, which it looks like it's going to be in January because the capture card that I'm trying to get is not available anywhere, so I have to order it. So it looks like it'll be a delivery date of January. I don't want to give you an exact date because I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to this stuff, so I have to learn on the fly. But hey, maybe we'll play Half-Life. I know I am playing the hell now out of this Call of Duty game, and I'm super stoked to have it. And again, a review is coming on. I'm gonna review the whole game, but I'm just gonna review the free to play part first. Once I feel like I've learned the game enough and I'm comfortable enough to give you guys a short review of it. But so far, I'm digging it. Aglets are the little plastic pieces on the end of shoestrings. Sure. I'd chew on those. I like chewing on things, especially plastic things like straws. My favorite straw to chew on the planet Earth is the straws you get with a Capri Sun. Hands down, best straw to chew on. Don't at me. That's just fact. There is no other one. That is the best straw to chew on, period, full stop. Thank you so much for liking. Truly appreciate it. Star Wars Schmarblors. Star Wars Schmorblors. Yeah, pretty much right now, anyway. Hey there, Lou. Me from Twitter. How's your new show going? It's going great. Thank you, Naive Esses, for being here. Thank you for participating and asking the question. Woo! Not gonna lie, Half-Life series is the best I've ever played. Okay, I will check it out. I will definitely check it out. I love microplastics. Yum yum. I mean, everybody I think is in the microplastics. There's nothing I think you can't eat outside of like broccoli that has microplastics in it. Although I don't know, I haven't put that under a microscope, so I'm not 100% sure. But you guys, this was a killer show. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of talking DC and comic books and all things new that hopefully are coming down the road that get us excited as fans. If there's anything you guys see that comes out that you want me to review, like a trailer or something, I was going to review the Oppenheimer trailer. Give me a review right now. I don't know. Wasn't he a Nazi? Like, he was a Nazi, right? He was a Nazi scientist that we brought over here. Are they going to tell that part of the story? I would think so. It's Christopher Nolan. I'm interested. I'll watch it. I don't know if I'm going to rush to the movie theater to watch this flick. But, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys want to see on the show. Thank you so much for coming by, hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. We're here for the algorithm. We praise the algorithm. We love the algorithm. So help us win over the algorithm by liking, sharing, subscribing. And if you're not catching this live, leave a comment down below. Algorithm just loves comments. That is the algorithm with comments when the show's over. So, if you love the show, hook us up, baby. Thank you all so much. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts on James Gunn, the DC Universe. If you think I'm wrong, if you got an idea, share it down below. I want to hear it from you guys. Until next time, be well out there. Peace. If this is true, please send it to me at Lou Angeles on Twitter. That sounds awesome. I've also heard of a storyline of Chewbacca crash landing on Earth, and that's Bigfoot. I thought that was pretty cool. So that would be like a cool short story or short film. I agree, though. Disney would never do it. They just don't have the guts. They don't have the guts. Thank you all. I love you very much.